Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and what's everybody talking about? I'm trying to keep it quiet a little bit. I'm doing this video a little early, but trying to keep it quiet a little bit here. But everybody's talking about the markets. The U.S. has bombed Iran, and this is the end of the world. And XRP's price went down, and these are the time. These are the opportunities for me. These are the times that I buy. If I'm positioned to buy things, these are the times I buy. If this price stays down around here, I will be scooping up large amounts of XRP. I was doing some stuff in the last day or two, so I haven't been able to, but I'm going to if it stays down here. And when I go in the group today, which is, if you want to join, you can go to daixrp.com through the Patreon, or you can click join on right below any of my YouTube videos, or you can subscribe through X, and I post the videos, the extended videos with no commercials there too. What I'm going to talk about in there is, because anytime we have things like this that are not related to what I believe is going to happen for XRP, and all the positive things that are ahead, I always like to give you a little perspective. And sometimes it's hard for people to have perspective on things, but this pullback is just, in the scheme of things, it's nothing. I mean, I've been here for a long time, and I'm going to give you that perspective and let you see how this story usually ends, and I believe it'll end in a much better way in the scheme of things. Okay, before I get going, I want to remind you, don't pay for institutional custody, folks. You can get institutional grade custody with iTrustCapital right now. They are they're my partner, but I wanted to tell you something. What they do is they charge a 1% trading fee, which is a very reasonable trading fee, but you get the institutional custody for free. And that is massive. So I keep a lot of my stuff on iTrustCapital, and I've got one or two other places that we talk about here, and we will be talking about. But I wanted to read this to you, which is important to remember. Staking Sol is going live in the coming weeks. This is iTrustCapital. Other assets are on the roadmap for staking or potential yield, but not confirmed. Wonder which other assets those could be. Well, I've got my fingers crossed. I'll put it that way. You can go to itrustcapital.com/XRP Army if you want to go to this page, and you can go and sign up. They have, by the way, just to remind you, I've had my IRA with them I've got 2 IRAs with them for years. They just opened the premium custody accounts. Those are regular accounts where you get institutional custody, and you don't have to lose sleep at night anymore. Huge. So the market is now 3.11 trillion. I'm telling you, this pullback is a big nothing, based on some of the things we've been through in the past. And like I said, I'll go into more of that in the group. Check this out. Modern investors here.
I can say with near certainty, a good 90% of you have no idea what you have in front of you. You're not understanding. And I don't use the term wealth here lightly. You don't understand the wealth that other people watching this are going to make and have forever. You don't get the opportunity that's slipping through a lot of people's hands because they're waiting for a dip. They're buying this instead. They don't want to pay it. Remember all those people years ago, XRP's garbage, I don't like XRP. And when it was at 1 cent, this is not how rich people act. Rich people don't go, well, I like Tron because the guy who makes it, he has hair. Well, I like Ether because, it sounds like something from a video game. No, they buy what has the most prospects to make them money in the future, irrespective of if they like it or not. You know how many people own Apple stock, Amazon stock, Google stock, and they don't like the companies, but they look at the performance, they look at the adoption, and they go, okay, cool, we got to buy some? That's how big, rich money actually works.
Okay. Well, can I get that to pause? I think I did. And then here's big picture stuff, folks. Listen to Raoul Paul.
The sovereign wealth funds. And the mandate across the entire region, from Saudi to Abu Dhabi to Dubai to Bahrain to Qatar, is AI and blockchain. And not just using Bitcoin as a reserve asset, but also building the entire government infrastructure on blockchain, driving licenses, property deeds, the whole bloody lot. So it's it's fascinating to see. And then a lot of people say to me, well, if all of this money's coming in from the sovereigns, that may produce an outside return. And I'm thinking, well, if we're going from 3 trillion to 100 trillion, which is my estimate by just extrapolating out the trend rate of growth, you need larger players each time because the market cap is bigger, right? There's no way you're going to get to 15 trillion this cycle unless you've got bigger players. So it's kind of, I don't think it's what people think it is. I think it's just a function of the size of the market. The bigger it becomes, the more that those people are involved, and the more blockchain technology gets used, the more it uses the alts for infrastructure rails, for new forms of compute and storage and all the other things that are coming. So I just thought it was interesting because everyone's like, oh my God, it's a super cycle because of this. I'm starting to err towards, well, we've talked about this before, a longer cycle, just because the business cycle is still below 50. So generally it takes a while to climb up. And then we use the GMI Financial Conditions Index, and that has a 9-month lead. And with the dollar breaking down even today, it's starting to suggest that this may go even into Q2 2026. So it's like the whole cycle got shifted because rates didn't get adjusted and the dollar was sideways for a period of time. So it feels that potentially there is a chance, and again, there's no guarantees in this world, that we're more like 2020 than we are in 2021. Or it's it's spookily similar to 2017.
You're darn right. I'm excited. I'm not. These things to me are just pure opportunity, because the things that are happening are not in any way, Iran getting bombed. These things are not in any way tied to the fundamentals of why I own XRP. This is called this is the Trump effect. Listen to these. This is Senator Haggerty with the Wolf of Wall Street.
I've thought about it. I think you really just nailed it. I think the kind of people that are in this administration are naturally in love of freedom and therefore naturally understand Bitcoin and become Bitcoiners through the natural process without being forced.
I came an XRP guy through the natural process of waiting on 3 or 4 Bitcoin confirmations and going, what in the hell am I sitting here having to wait for this for? I got this XRP thing over here and it sends in seconds and doesn't cost anything hardly. What in the world? What is going on? Early, I thought that.
With Bitcoin, once you really get it, you never turn back.
I turned away.
Well, I think that we've moved in that direction. And for those that are with us today and watching this, who were at the Bitcoin Nashville conference, they saw and felt the energy when President Trump was there. I was in Las Vegas just weeks ago, literally. The energy is contagious right now. I mean, I think the momentum is really, really strong. That puts the United States in a position, again, to attract and retain the best talent in the world. And I just have
I think the energy was at XRP Las Vegas. Now, I don't think that anybody could have said it better than Black Swan Capitalists did. XRP is everything they want you to believe Bitcoin is. They're not giving up. He's exactly right. And I saw this clip. This is from Brad Garlinghouse when he was in Switzerland in the room with almost every central banker in the world from back in 2019-ish. Listen to what he tells you about Bitcoin.
Because it requires capital to get it there. Our view in the future is you don't have to have this pre-funding, and instead you can use a digital asset to have global liquidity on demand. Now, we build upon a tech stack, an open source technology called XRP. XRP originally was built by some engineers who had seen some of the flaws of Bitcoin and the challenges of scalability around Bitcoin, where Bitcoin today, per transaction basis, it's rather slow and rather expensive. XRP is very, very fast, about 1,000 times faster per transaction and 1,000 times cheaper per transaction. The other dynamic, of course, of correspondent banking is some of the more quote-unquote exotic currencies, exotic corridors have been left to kind of stand on their own. And the liquidity in digital assets could be applied to actually make that much more democratized and a level playing field. Ripple's vision from the beginning really has been to apply these technologies in the same way that TCP/IP and HTTP are the technologies underpinning the Internet of Information. These blockchain technologies will be the underpinnings of an Internet of Value, where we have connected devices, we have connected information that will allow payments to flow. And as Norman was describing, if you're a large corporation moving $100 million, that's one thing. If you're a freelancer working in the Philippines doing design work for a company in London and you want to get paid $30 or 30 pesos, Philippine pesos, that's not a transaction that can easily be enabled. And in fact, for the companies that enable that, they require the freelancer to set up an account, and they don't actually pay it out until there's roughly 1,000 USD sitting in that account, and then they would pay it out.
There you go. I'm not going to go deep into this, but Greg Kidd this is from Uptown Saul, apparently did a write-up on his 1 billion XRP option. If you remember, I did an interview with Greg Kidd years ago, back at maybe 5 years ago, where for the first time he told the world that he had an option on 1 billion XRP. And here he goes through, he tells you all about it. Really interesting stuff. I wish I had a billion XRP option. Just in, crypto exchange OKX is eyeing US IPO. The IPOs are coming, folks. This whole market is coming. I'm not at all concerned about what's going on in the Middle East. That's short-term stuff. Odds of XRP ETFs approved in 2025 are now 95%. Anders likes these odds, and so do I. All right, let's look at some big picture stuff. Here's Jim Rickards talking about everything going on.
BRICS just had Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa are the big five BRICS, but they've now expanded their meetings and their work to include a lot more countries. So Argentina, Iran, Turkey, a lot of other important economies who have these BRICS conferences. They've announced that they're working on some kind of global settlement currency.
Who has one of those?
I would make the distinction between a payment currency and a reserve currency. People tend to confuse the two. They tend to talk about the reserve currency status. That's a tough nut to crack. It can happen. Sterling used to be the main reserve currency. It lost its role between 1914 and 1944, but that took 30 years. Now the dollar may be losing its role, but that's going to be a slow process. But the payment currency is different. You could use almost anything as a payment currency, assuming the parties agree. So they may come up with an international payment currency backed by a basket of commodities, and they're all commodity producers. Russia has oil, natural gas. Saudi Arabia has oil. Brazil, again, has oil, but also large agricultural output, largest or second largest soybean producer in the world. Africa has enormous mineral outputs, etc. So you go around the membership, and you can see they've got the potential commodity backing for that. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, is a Central Asian group led by Russia and China, but again, they're attracting new members. They're working on something similar, and others are as well. And of course, we've got our friends over in crypto world. I don't think that will be a reserve currency probably ever. But as a medium of exchange, as a payment, it could perform a role. And I've lectured about hypothesizing.
What digital asset in all the world is used for a means of payment? Above all, XRP.
As that Russia and China could develop a new digital currency. It could be a cryptocurrency, call it the Xi coin, Putin coin, whatever you like. and use that as a payment mechanism. But all you're really doing with any payment currency is you're keeping.
Okay, and then finally, this is another great one, folks. And again, the Black Swan Capitals has it right. Gold will be the collateral, stablecoins will represent the digital layer, and XRP will function as a settlement rail.
We have a tremendous paradigm shift that's going on, where money is not coming into the United States, where the long bond is not a flight to quality asset. Gold suddenly is the flight to quality asset. People, I think Costco is selling gold retail and they can't keep it in stock, you know, and gold has gone from, it was living at $1,800 an ounce not very long ago, and once it broke above 2,000, it was just straight up, and now it's basically a third of 10,000. 3,333 and 33 cents it was actually when I looked at it yesterday. So I think gold is a real asset class. It's no longer for lunatic survivalists and wild speculators. It's viewed as an asset class, and central banks have been accumulating gold. Gold was stuck in the mud because for a decade or more, central banks were selling it down. They've bought it all back.
The writing's on the wall. Okay, so we're going to go into DAIXRP.com, and we're going to lay out this whole XRP price thing, and I'm going to put everything in perspective. And you can go to DAIXRP.com to join through the Patreon. Click the join button below any of my YouTube videos if you'd rather join through there. And now you've got a third option. You can join through on the X platform. Just subscribe. Okay. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that if more bombs are dropping across the world, there will be more bombs dropping in my crypto account, XRP bombs, that is. I'll be stacking. That's the plan. Here we go.